on up, Richie. I got a balloon for you.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day. As of late, I've been researching and scripting like crazy for part 2 of the Rapisteria series. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I'll have a link to it down below. But I put that work on hold for a moment when I discovered this response to me by the channel RichieFromBoston. Sorry, NateTalksToYou, but your information debunking chemtrails has now been debunked by Harvard University, disclosing they are indeed spraying the skies exactly as we speculated and then proved. So yeah, Richie seems to believe he's debunked my video where I debunk chemtrails. Well, how about we hear him out?
Harvard University has actually come out and said that they've already started spraying the atmosphere. So this is no longer a conspiracy. This is a project that's been ongoing for at least 20 years that we know of.
Alright, so before I explain why Richie is wrong about this article, let's go over what geoengineering is. Geoengineering refers to a broad set of methods and technologies that aim to deliberately alter the climate system in order to alleviate the impacts of climate change. And the two main kinds of geoengineering are A, solar radiation management, and B, carbon dioxide removal. The people here at Harvard are researching the former. Now, while there are several different proposed methods of solar radiation management, the one conspiracy theorists focus on is called stratospheric aerosol injection, or SAI, where reflective particles would be released into the stratosphere to help reflect sunlight, thereby helping to reduce the effects of global warming. Now, while SAI is currently just a proposed method for fighting climate change, conspiracy theorists like Richie falsely believe the trails we see in the sky are proof it's happening right now. In reality though, these trails behind planes are simply condensation trails, aka contrails. They are the result of hot, humid jet exhaust mixing with the very cold air, turning into ice crystals. And no, contrails, including the long-lasting ones, are not a new phenomenon. As I showed in my Chemtrails Debunked video, there are science books and papers going back over 70 years that provide descriptions and photos of long-lasting contrails. Well, now that we've covered all of that, let's take a look at this page from Harvard. Remember, according to Richie,
Harvard University has actually come out and said that they've already started spraying the atmosphere.
Well, apparently Richie can't read because the article only talks about them researching solar geoengineering. Nowhere do they imply it's being implemented right now. The article even says it will possibly be deployed. Possibly, meaning it may be done, but it may not. That is why they're doing research, Richie, to make sure this method would be safe and effective. And if that's not good enough for you, you can also check out their events page where they have multiple videos from a forum they held. And yet again, they explain this may possibly be done.
So geoengineering, solar geoengineering is a potential complement to doing mitigation and carbon dioxide removal.
We, I think, have good knowledge that if we put particles in the atmosphere, in particular in the stratosphere, we will cool the climate.
There are these other questions about what's going to happen when we deploy it and how would we govern it. But right now, we don't even know if it's possible.
So Richie, all you've proven at this point is that you're not a reliable source of information.
To make a video like this saying that it was busted, you may want to take this video down because Harvard has busted your video.
Again, as I've shown, no they haven't. Harvard was even nice enough to make an article explaining to people like you that their research has nothing to do with your conspiracy theory. But did Richie choose to admit he was wrong? Nope, of course not, he doubled down. How about we take a peek at his video?
These guys are denying what they have said. These guys are denying what we see. They're showing a picture of the sky right here, but when's the last time you saw this? Well, I'll give you the answer. You don't. You just don't.
Anyway, back to Richie's video on me.
You can say whatever you want. You can wear all the queer little t-shirts that you want. You can make all the hand gestures that you want. And then you can show obvious, straight-up evidence that they are indeed. That's not contrails. That's not contrails. This will intertwine together, spread out, and create a large mass in front of the sun, blocking out the sun.
Yeah, and in the very same video that you're playing, I explain why some contrails last a long time and spread out. And unlike you, I give plenty of sources to back myself up. But you're probably not going to respond to what I said because that would require some actual effort. I mean, hey, since you can't bother reading articles, getting a decent microphone, putting effort into editing your videos, or even spell checking your description, why should I expect any more out of you?
Looking at a video I put up quite a while ago, and it was showing everybody that Harvard University and David Keith specifically have come out along with Professor Gordon McKay to explain to everybody why chemtrails will be an awesome idea.
Wow, not only can Richie not read, he can't hear either.
Solar geoengineering refers to a set of technologies that could allow humanity to deliberately increase the planet's reflectivity. It could reduce the risks of climate change in ways that we cannot reduce them by simply cutting emissions. It could allow us to reduce temperature extremes that cause real human suffering.
The key word here, Richie, is could. A person saying they could do something is not the same as them saying they are doing something. I never thought I'd have to explain English to a middle-aged man.
Believe it or not, planes nowadays are more efficient than planes were back in the 70s.
That is true, Richie, but more efficient does not necessarily mean less contrails. In a paper published in the Journal of Aircraft, it was found that the more efficient engines on newer aircraft were actually more likely to form contrails. So, along with the increase in air traffic, this is why you see contrails more often now.
And you spouting this information that they've been putting out for years is kind of moot now because they've actually flipped it on you and they've come out completely and said, yes, we are spraying the atmosphere.
Anyway, I think you all get the point. Richie is full of shit. So Richie, if you choose to respond to me again, I hope you actually address the points I've made. Because in my experience debating people like you, when you can't respond to what I said, you'll just jump to a different argument. Like in your response to me, you didn't address the points in my video, instead, you spent your time misconstruing Harvard. We'll have to wait and see what you do this time though. And finally, to my backers on Patreon, this is not a Patreon-funded video. It is totally free for you. My next Patreon video will be Rapisteria Part 2, which I've been working on for over a month now. Any amount of support is very much appreciated, and contrary to what Richie seems to believe, I am not a paid Freemason. So if anyone else wants to help support that project, I'll have a link to my Patreon down below. Have a nice day.